OTAs this week, which means the Dallas Cowboys have been eliminated from playoff contention. Dallas still stinks. Yo, but the way I kick things back here, they're so negative with the Eagles and this year, and you're seeing people with expectations that are so low with this team. They talk about the demise. They talk about the wide receiver position problems. They talk about the offensive coordinator. You can see it every day on X, around social media, how everybody loves to trash the Eagles. If you're not an Eagle fan, they love to trash us. They're coming for us. Why? It's simple. The Eagles are America's team, the true America's team. They are relevant and it matters. Unlike that team in Dallas, which, oh, by the way, has already been eliminated from contention. No, this Eagles team, the fan bases around the league want us to fail, and they want us to fail soon because they know that this team is about to win multiple Super Bowls. That's right, I'm saying it, and I'm saying it now. And we could just talk, you could just go online, go on X, and just look at all the negative stuff on A.J. Brown, on Jalen Hurts, on the receiving core, on the offensive coordinator. And a lot of it is over-exaggerated, not true, or people are hoping for things to work out a certain way. But there are a lot of good things about this team that aren't talked about, that's for sure. And one of the things that I'm going to mention today and I want to bring up, I want to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles this year having the best, and I mean the best secondary in football. No question about it. Now, we've talked the last few days about the safeties and getting another safety in there to go with MAKUBA, maybe Epps, maybe Michael Carter. We'll see. However, if you look at the starting corners, the three, all right, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and Tariq Woolen, one thing is apparent. You are looking at a team that has probably the best starting corners in football, bar none, as a pair. And not just because you've got talented guys, but you've got guys that, to me, legitimately are different from each other, but together they go perfect. It's almost like how good A.J. Brown and DEVONTA Smith and how well they complement each other. Same thing. It's the same thing, all right? You got Quinyon Mitchell, a guy who shut down corner. He's the best number one outside corner on this team. Shut down. No question about it. And if you look at Cooper DeJean is different than Quinyon Mitchell. He just is. Different kind of corner. The thing, and even Vic Fangio said this about Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean is a guy that could play all over the place. And we talked about this when we drafted him. The eventual situation that you want from Cooper DeJean week in and week out is to eventually become a Swiss Army knife. To become the guy that can play matchups, right? 1 week you want him on a tight end. 1 week you might want him at outside corner. 1 week you might want him in the nickel. You want him at safety. He can play all over the place. And you should move him around accordingly depending upon matchup and, certain guys that you may want to shut down. He can be that guy. And then while you have him, you have Quinyon Mitchell on the outside, shutting down the number one wide receivers. This is a lethal secondary, especially lethal cornerbacks, okay? And Vic Fangio knows that. And then, as your third guy, what an upgrade. What an upgrade to go from a Dory Jackson to Tariq Woolen, okay? Woolen just turned 27, okay? He's a big corner. And this is what, Fangio, he even spoke about it, Fangio rarely hypes, Thomas R. Peterson said this, Fangio rarely hypes up players, so the way he talks about Riq Woolen here, he's super excited to have him. Also mentioned he was surprised he didn't get a long-term deal and that he's a great guy. 1000% agreed. Remember when the Eagles got Bradbury? Everybody laughed at the Eagles. They said, oh, you got James Bradbury. He stinks. He was with the Giants. Look how bad he was with the Giants. And whether you like Bradbury and you like how it ended or not, James Bradbury was good, especially the first year we got him. And Tariq Woolen is better. He's younger. And I think he is going to be the perfect complement of those two guys. So now you're in a situation where you're dealing with three of the best corners in football starting out on the field. This is going to be very hard for teams to match up with, and nobody wants to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it because it's true. They all act like, well, you don't have the safety, so it's all going to fall. It's all going to fall apart. No, not at all, not at all. And I'll tell you what's not going to fall apart. Somebody's going to win out on an A.J.Brown trade. Check this out. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports pick app. It is the best place to win cash while watching sports. It's very easy to use, and it's legal in almost all 50 states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Not only is it easy to play player plays where you just pick a few players, lock in your lineup, and boom, you're ready to go. They also now have a team section. And in the team section, I found a really cool play that we're going to go over right now. A.J. Brown, we've talked so much about him. Where's he going to end up? Well, that's what we're asking today. And I'm going to go Kansas City Chiefs. Why? Because this payout is really nice, and I don't want him in New England. But we're going to go A.J. Brown to the Chiefs as a possible place where he ends up. And if you like this and you want to do something similar, just download the app. In the link in the description, use promo code HMA. That's promo code HMA. And if you just use $5 entry, you'll get $50 in lineups. That's $50 in lineups on a $5 entry play. All you have to do, like I said, is download the promo code HMA, and you can get into this action just like Philly 500. Shout out to Prize Picks. So, I just love what the Eagles have done in the secondary. Howie Roseman does not get enough credit for that. And it's the Tariq Woolen signing was a bigger signing and more impactful than about 90% of the moves. Like, you want to see, like, for example, Cowboys are going to talk about, we got Rashawn Gary. A guy who was about to get cut anyways, who probably wasn't as good as Jadeveon Clowney. They act like that changed their team. But really, the Woolen signing was a bigger signing and more impactful than that. Okay, now, of course, in the future, going into the future, it's going to be, well, what are the Eagles going to do in terms of extensions and signing guys? I would say this. You're going to definitely have to sign Quinyon Mitchell, and you're going to have to sign Cooper DeJean. Now, there's a lot of people that are going to say, well, the Cooper DeJean thing is interesting because you don't pay a nickel corner. You don't pay nickel corners a lot of money, and he's not worth that being a nickel corner. That's not how you pay Cooper DeJean. You don't pay. The Eagles aren't going to sit there and go to the negotiate table with him. I don't think. And they're going to say, well, Cooper DeJean, you're a nickel corner. We're not going to pay you hardly anything, even though you're better than 99.9% of all the corners out there. They're not going to do it. They're going to look at Cooper DeJean specifically as a weapon, as a defensive weapon that can be utilized at any point in time in the secondary, anywhere they want. And he is going to get big money. And then people are going to try to say that what will happen is you'll see teams all of a sudden, you'll see, teams have to negotiate and fight with their nickel corners about pay because everybody's going to want to say, well, Cooper DeJean is making this much money, so now the nickel corner market should be higher. But it's not really the case. Cooper DeJean is a weapon. You don't just put him at nickel corner. Although they started him out there his rookie year, what did he do? He went out, and in his rookie year, he was the best nickel corner of football. Then you went out there, and he went in the Super Bowl, had a pick six, and lives in history forever. But they also play him in base at safety. And you're going to see as his career progresses, he is going to be doing more and more and more. He is a weapon, and you have to pay him as such. And the Eagles will. And that's going to mess up a lot of other teams who are going to have to start fighting with their nickel corners over what they should be making. But Cooper DeJean is a weapon. He's a Swiss Army knife. And not only that, I would say he's probably the best tackling cornerback in football. So you've got Quinyon Mitchell, outside, shutdown corner, absolutely one of the best already in the league. Then you got the weapon, the Swiss Army knife, in Cooper DeJean. Then you got the 6'4" Tariq Woolen, former Pro Bowl, 27-year-old guy who's hungry this year. He just won a Super Bowl too, so he knows how to go out and win. But guess what? Tariq Woolen also wants to play for a big contract. So you've got a lot of talent, and you got Vic Fangio dealing with these guys. This is why you don't go out and pay big monies for safety. I mean, I know a lot of people talk about, maybe we should go and trade for a safety. I don't think you necessarily do that. And the reason why is because you got to pay those other guys. And I would suggest this, if you could find any way, and I don't know how you do it, but if Tariq Woolen has a good year, if you could find a way to keep him, even if it's just one more year, do it. See, this is my other theory. I believe in the Devonta Smith conspiracy theory with his softball game. Christian Gonzalez was there. I'm not saying they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to do it. But it would appeal to the Eagles. And I think people don't understand this. If the Eagles were in a position where Christian Gonzalez was on the market, I think Howie Roseman would take it. Because I think Howie Roseman would look at it and say, well, I get Christian Gonzalez for 2 years, and I get Tariq Woolen for 1. I'd rather go with the kid who's making less, who's better, and who's got 2 years left on his contract. I think Howie would do it. I think he would take 2 years of having those 3 guys over, anybody else. I don't think he's worried about signing Christian Gonzalez to a long-term contract. I think he would worry about those 2 years. He will sign DeJean. He will sign Quinyon Mitchell. And the Christian Gonzalez thing, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that in the case that you could upgrade that position for an extra year, if he was given the opportunity, he would do it. I don't think that's going to happen, and I'm okay with that because Woolen is going to be good. You are going to have a hell of a secondary. And MAKUBA, don't sleep on MAKUBA, because MAKUBA, when he was on the field, he was lights out, and he was only getting better and better and better each week. So this team is scary, especially in that secondary. Then you take the defensive line that they've got with Grenard and then Carter and Davis. That's scary. We already know what this linebacking core is. The Eagles should have a top 5 defense in the NFL this year. They will. And then when the offense goes out and shocks everybody, it's going to rock the world. No doubt about it. But there is a lot to be excited about with this team. Don't let anybody tell you. Don't let those focusing on only the negatives all the time to get you down. Because the truth is every year a team's going to switch things around. And there's going to be certain parts of that team that are stronger than previous years and weaker than previous years. But the Eagles, in the secondary, on this defense, it is significantly better than it was a year ago. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. So I see Mark Holmes is saying, Myles Garrett to the Cowboys. Myles Garrett, baby, he'll come to the Cowboys. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. Why would Myles Garrett want to go to the Cowboys? Why would he want to go when he can lose as many games as he wants in Cleveland? If he's going to go to Dallas, he would want to win. Dallas is not a winning team. They are not a true contender. They aren't even a playoff team last year. Why would Myles Garrett go there? Oh, well, because he's from Dallas. So what? So he can go to Dallas in the offseason and spend all his time there as much as he needs. But when the season begins, he should be somewhere else where he could actually win. And if Garrett does get traded, he needs to go to a winner. Denzel Washington out. That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.